self-criticism, frustration, anger with yourself, low self-esteem, feeling like you've failed, feeling like you're not where you should be in your life because of your insomnia. Incredibly, incredibly common. I suffered from all of this during my 20 years. And when my clients come to me and start working with me, they're not normally in a good place in their life, especially if they've had their insomnia for a long time. So really, this video is to take away the shame, take away the guilt attached to that. And by normalizing it, hopefully just take away another one of those layers of suffering which is attached to insomnia, because you're suffering enough with this condition. You know, that feeling in the middle of the night where you're anxious, stressed, worried, when you feel that you hate being in bed, where it feels like a torture chamber, where you feel like your life is kind of slipping away and out your hands because of this, and you can't hold down your job or get a relationship that you want or challenge yourself. If you're feeling guilty about that, then it's really not helpful to your recovery. And I really want to get you to the point with your recovery where I hopefully build your confidence up enough that you've got the self-worth and self-confidence to actually take on these quite hard behavioural changes that I outline on all of my videos. So why does this happen? So where does this knocking of your self-esteem, confidence and self-criticism come from? Well, if we kind of look at it in two ways, what do people with insomnia do? They spend an awful lot of time in the middle of the night awake. You shouldn't be. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know that there are things you should be doing instead of that. But yeah, when you got insomnia, you spend so much time in bed awake. And this is time where you're ruminating, where you're getting anxious, when you're getting stressed. The amygdala, the part of the brain, the problem solving, the rational part of the brain is shut down in the middle of the night. And so these thought patterns are incredibly negative, by and large, incredibly negative thought patterns. And so this criticism, this anger, this frustration with your condition, it will just spin and it will just turn all night long. And of course, if you're feeling fatigued during the daytime, you're going to want to naturally detach from it. You're going to want to naturally stop taking on challenges. You're going to want to naturally socially isolate yourself from those around you. That could be your friends, that could be your family, that could be your children even, because you just feel that you're not, well, number one, you don't have the energy to spend time with them. And there can be that feeling of, well, I'm not that fun and happy person that I used to be. So I really don't want them to see this side of me, this insomniac side. It's fine after a good night of sleep. If I've slept well, then everything's bright again, when everything's okay with the world, everything's more colourful. But when it's dark and when it's grey and when it's just, I don't want them to see that side of me. Things just really natural to shy away from the days. And the problem is, it's fine for a week or two, but when you've had insomnia for a long time and you start detaching more and more and more, when you start going into your shell like this, then you start isolating yourself from the world, you stop challenging yourself. And then when you stop challenging yourself, you stop engaging in your life. Your head goes lower because you're just not the person that you can be, that you should be, if you didn't have this horrible, horrible condition. And yeah, you know, I don't want to go too much into my own, but divorce, depression, anxiety, I lost my business and ended up living in a van with my insomnia. So it's a real thing. It does do such a terrible impact on your mental health. 9 times more likely to suffer from depression. So depression is a symptom of insomnia, not the other way around. And 18 times more likely to suffer from anxiety. So insomnia, it's very, very real. This whole nonsense where it's just poor quality sleep or trouble sleeping. You know, I know, it's just far, far, far more than that. And why people don't get it, why people don't understand it, I don't know, because you just have to speak to people with insomnia. Massive frustration of mine that no one seems to know, even in my healthcare condition, profession, what insomnia is, but that is kind of how it is. So how am I going to take this guilt and shame away from you? Well, first of all, I'm just going to normalize it by saying this is simply all of this stuff, this low self-esteem, this low self-confidence, limiting up your life, just stepping back from it. Everyone with insomnia does this. It's a symptom of the condition. You're naturally going to want to detach from your life. You're not going to want to push yourself when you're so fatigued. You're not going to want to take on challenges. You are going to naturally think, well, I can't book that hotel, because if I book that hotel, what if I don't sleep? So I'd rather just not even put myself in that position to can go on holiday. I don't want to disappoint people around me. I don't want to pay for something that I can't. And it's just so common and natural to do this. So really kind of think of it as that symptom of the condition. I'm going to be honest and truthful here. I didn't even spend time with my wife. I didn't even sleep in the same bed. Initially, when my insomnia first started, occasionally I would. Then it went to separate beds, and then just seeing her, sleeping so soundly when I was just lying in what I called a torture chamber, made me so filled with anger and frustration and resent. I couldn't take it. So I went from sleeping in the same bed with her to separate beds to then eventually sleeping in a separate room. Depressed, anxious, crap all over the floor, and just completely detaching from my life, spending 12, 14 hours in bed. A lot of my clients come to me at this stage where they just feel that they're, losing everything and who they are as a person. Their relationships are no longer working. Their time with their family is getting less and less. People don't want to spend time with them anymore because of this condition. I suppose I just want to kind of say that it's not your fault. It's just what insomnia does to everybody. So if you've got this extra layer of suffering where you're beating yourself up, where you're criticizing because, why can't I sleep like everyone else? It's really not your fault, because the information out there, the tips, the tricks, the hacks, limit your life and do far less in your life if you want to sleep. Take these supplements, wear socks to bed. None of this gets to the root cause of it. So the fact that you haven't actually found a way out of this, and I know how hard you're trying, because everyone with insomnia, they just try so hard to sleep. People think you're lazy. It's not. No one with insomnia and tries harder to get rid of it. It's just the fact that help is not out there. But if there's any doubt whether it can be overcome, and here's living proof that right now, in 20 years I suffered with it and I no longer have it. So just know you're not alone. Everyone with insomnia feels like this. Watch these videos, watch this channel to get out of it. But please, just to give you the confidence that, to actually have the self-worth to put yourself through these hard behavioral changes by outline. And they are hard. I never like to lie to people. I never like to be disingenuous. These are not quick fixes. They're not tips. They're not tricks. They're not hacks. It's a slow, gradual rebuilding of your pattern of sleep through habit and behavior changes. And it's a case of getting stuck back into your life again, to teach the brain that you can still have a poor night of sleep and still get stuck into your day, and actually give you something in your life which isn't insomnia. This video isn't there to tell you what to do. It's more to get you to the point where you've got enough self-worth to actually get on my channel, look at my videos, and get stuck into what I outlined. Free playlist on here that you can look at. That will help you get onto everything. So I would advise you do that. I'll put it in the comment section. It's called, I can't remember what it's called. It's in the comment section. It doesn't matter. All right, lovely. Hope this has given you confidence back. It's just a symptom of the condition. You're awesome. You're brilliant. You've got insomnia, but it can be overcome. Bye.